We have been legally told we can't play music on podcasts now. And I think it's your fault. Because you pointed at me like you did it. And I know. But we can't because mostly it's like
I'm greedy.
It's on demand. And it totally makes sense. But like we can't provide anything that you need to pay for on demand. But it's also hard for us to promo things, even for 15 seconds at a time. It's a difficult place to put us in to go, we'll use you, for example. Here's Eric.
Like, Friday night.
Yeah, you've written all these songs. Some people know, some people
have to
don't.
sing it.
Yeah. And so
everybody has to sing their intro.
We can't even.
Is that allowed?
Oh yeah, you could even bring a guitar and play stuff that you wrote. Now it's not something that we ask our people to do because it's like we don't have a DI or anything. You know, we just talk for the most part. But like
just sit in the corner and play everybody's intro.
They'll just sit and play and not care how it sounds, but it like is good for effect. My whole point is, and I forgot where I was going. Oh, got it. We can't play any music here. Mike, where was I going? I don't even know. I never.
That's why we have headphones.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Golly, because I had another thing I was going to talk about. I breathe loud. So mostly we would wear these because music would play and you can't hear the music in the room. So you wear headphones. But if I'm not wearing headphones, you'll be talking. If I don't have headphones on. But I know if I have headphones on, I can hear me breathing loud. So all that to say, it keeps me from breathing loud. And I'm a freaking professional. It keeps me from breathing loud.
Bobby the mouth breather.
Yes. And no, dude, my nose even knows. For some reason, I breathe loud. And then the second reason is sometimes if I have a little too spittle in my mouth, and I'm not really doing anything, but you can hear.
Like get the gate. Everybody
so
needs a
I wear
gate
headphones for that. Now you were like, do you need to? No, not particularly.
I just picture like an engineer just running to push the Bobby gate to make sure the little sounds don't show up on air.
And my Bobby gate is me wearing headphones. So you were like, should I? I was like, you don't have to. You're a professional. But I do because I breathe loud.
It's cold outside.
It is cold. I hate it. It probably works for you more than it does for me. The second thing I want to mention before we get started here is you said, hey, did you do the show this morning? Which we did. And I think Mike and I both got to this studio like 15 minutes ago because we try to now communicate it to, do you have enough time to shove something down your throat as we go Studio A to Studio B? Because there have been times where we will just push so long and then drive here, we've not eaten, and it's 3 or 4 o'clock and then we've had no food. But yes, we did the show. So what you heard was us live. And I appreciate you saying you even listened this morning. Thank you very much.
Good job.
I feel like a little background with us. Eric and I dated for 3 years.
We did.
Mm-hmm. No, you know what? I was thinking about you, and I follow your social and stuff, which keeps me to feel like I still know you, or at least keep up with you. I do know you. But we had a good run where we actually spent a lot of time together personally. Yeah. And I would still consider you a friend, but it's one of those friends where nothing happened that didn't make us hang out less. But like you had a kid, you moved further away, I was gone all the time, and then all of a sudden, I haven't seen freaking Eric in 2-3 years or so. But it doesn't feel like
the pandemic didn't help.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. You're right. That was the beginning, I think, of us not seeing each other at all.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen you in person.
Well, after the incident.
Yeah. But
I've been using that a lot. And people are like, what?
Well, I'd never even drank before then. And I especially put a pill up to my rectum. And that's why the incident happened.
I knew it. See?
So, but as I was walking down here, I was like, social media is a weird thing. Because I was going to talk to you about your second baby. And I wouldn't even know that if it wasn't for social media. But I know you and your wife. But I haven't actually seen you and touched you until I hugged you when I walked in. And I know it's weird. It's
possibly
really,
4 years.
Possibly. Pandemic, though, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I was at your wedding.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
You were there.
Okay, so.
All right, well, let's hang out.
That's it. All right, see you guys next week for
person.
Another episode. I want to just start with a general. What's up, man? Really, what's going on?
I mean, right now, Babyland.
Yeah.
I'm in Babyland. Nova's 4 weeks old, so just doing all that. And, yeah.
Can I ask you a question about
Trying
that?
to sleep a little. Props to the mamas out there and the papas.
a little advice from you, if you may.
Yeah.
And I get it. This show's about you. Sure. But a little advice from you. Now, my wife and I, at some point, we're going to have children.
Hey.
She's not pregnant now, and I feel the need to say that every time I bring it up because people will be like, he's talking about it like she's pregnant. She's not pregnant yet. At some point,
like talking.
People love friggin' talking and about stuff they know nothing about. I'm one of them. I've made a lucrative career off of talking about stuff I know nothing about. Yes. The baby stage seems miserable.
It's funny. Piper, our first one is 6 now. She just turned 6. I forgot the baby stage.
Yeah, but
I really did.
I
was
forgot
like,
the puppy stage though too until I got another
diapers?
dog, and then I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how hard the puppy stage was.
Yeah. I think it's just you. Maybe the blessing of the mind. If you have an all right mind, you forget the traumatic parts. Not that it's really traumatic, but I mean the lack of sleep. Maybe you're just so tired you don't remember it. Your brain doesn't allow you to. I don't know.
I also don't think that everything traumatic is bad.
True.
I think they're
it's every second I'm holding Nova when she's even crying. It's just like, this is cool. Like,
really,
I'm glad she's breathing. Seriously, that was my thought. She was just crying and crying, and it's like, well, she's got a gash, she's got something. There was a burp I didn't get out of her or something, and it's just human and awesome. And I was just sitting there going, like, God, thank you, she's breathing. She's crying nonstop. I haven't slept in a minute.
I cry for the same reasons.
But I mean, I guess that's where my mind is these days. But it's all relative. But is
it hard? Because again, I know, and again,
you're great. You function on little sleep. You're great.
I'm insulted by that because here's why.
You're great.
Here's why. I've gotten good at performing at a high level while being exhausted. Right? I've gotten no better at not being exhausted.
True.
And that's a double negative. And you would know this just from being an artist and a writer and having to create when you're tired. Like you just get better at doing it tired.
Yeah.
And I am perpetually exhausted. Not the way my stepdad was. He worked at the mill.
Yeah.
So I'd like for everybody before you jump down my throat. I'm never not exhausted. But I don't think that makes it easier for me to be exhausted even more. I mean, the baby thing seems hard.
You can hire a nanny.
And I would have 5.
Do it.
No.
I'm actually serious. Like, to be able to sleep at night, I'm totally, I'm totally getting like a night nurse and stuff. So
you are getting
to help Natalie sleep just more.
And Natalie, I don't know, because if you're like my wife, you'll never listen to this because, Eric's your husband and you get enough Eric all the day. And my wife gets all to me all the day, so she doesn't need to hear anything I ever do professionally. But if you do happen to hear this, I miss you. And I hope it's going awesome, and I miss you, and you're awesome.
Well, y'all got to come up to the farm.
I know, but that's another thing about why we haven't hung out. When you got the farm,
we're also east.
But when you got the farm, though, you were like at the farm a lot, right? When you moved, and the farm's not.
That's what it was. You invited me to go to Garth Brooks.
Yes,
and I totally should have. Okay. I'm sorry.
No,
the reason, and this was me trying to please people, and not people. It was just an interesting thing of family. Natalie's grandparents were moving down that day to the farm.
There's no apology.
And I was like, dang it. But I always, in my heart, there's always the memory that we saw Garth together. So
I know. I did want you to go.
We should go.
But I don't think he's going to be doing anything for a while. He's
going
to get through that.
He'll get through it.
One way or the other.
Well, hopefully all is good for everybody.
Okay, so the baby thing. It'll happen. I'm going to be... I'm going to get... So, a little my wife and I situation. I would like to have a night nurse now.
Do it.
And we don't have a baby, right? But I would think...
What would the night nurse be used for?
Me. I wake up all through the night. I do. I wake up. I wake up with extreme anxiety through the night. I don't have it in the daytime. I never thought I had anxiety. I felt bad for people that did. I think I'm neurotic. I think you have a bit of that creative neurosis. Mm-hmm. I hope you don't mind. I don't care if you mind because I feel free. Yes. I feel free saying that.
I'm not moving air. I'm moving dirt.
Yes. And also, don't they say like you have to like sign up like forever to get your kid into school and get a good night nurse and nanny? And I'm like, well, we're not going to wait 10 years, so let's go ahead and get one and get them working. That's what I think.
Why not?
Yeah, I get a little thirsty, a little parched at night. Night nurse, ding, 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 ding. What'd be so wrong with that? Get them get them comfortable in the house.
I mean, you can see if you trust them or not.
Exactly.
Yeah. they drop a lot of things, don't hire them.
If put a couple like nice watches around just on the table randomly and see if they disappear.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any help?
Natalie's mom is there with us a lot. My mom comes down and hangs out a lot, so that's good.
That's help, but that's not the help I was asking about. That's real help. That's like family.
That's family help. Yeah. No, we have not hired anybody. I think that will happen this go around.
What's the difference? And we'll get off babies, but what's the difference in the two as babies? Like Nova at this point, like at 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, are they the same or are they different?
We're all different, Bobby.
Here we go.
And I love them both evenly.
I didn't ask if there was any love difference.
No, I mean, actually, Nova is so chill that in the hospital, we got the nurses to be like, she's not waking up to eat. Is there something wrong? And they're like, no, she's just chill.
Do you feel...
So Nova's more chill than Piper was as a baby, but Piper had more colicky stuff going on, so she had all kinds of stomach issues. So
because you've been through it with a baby and a toddler, do you feel like the second kid, you're like, we're fine. Not if it falls, you know what I mean? Like if something happens, we're not going to freak out as much. Is that happening?
Yeah, I mean, definitely don't drop the baby, but that's not ideal. But it's just experience. I've been there, done that, and it's still, it's easier because I've changed a bunch of diapers, and if there's a certain problem, on Piper this helped, just experience.
What I just did that
I'm highly experienced. I've only had 2 children.
Yeah, but
we should talk to
that's a lot of. No, you're good. I trust you though. And here's what I just did that I don't think I've ever done in the history of this show while doing the show. I just took my shoes off. That's how comfortable I am with you being here.
Here we are.
I literally just took my shoes off in the middle of it. I would never do that. So I'm just putting my feet
Put your shoes back on.
No, not doing it. All right. So okay, yep, baby.
I wear the same socks. Well, I don't have them on right now.
I don't think you do. These are
steal my socks?
These are Nike. Every sock, if it's a dress sock, if it's an athletic sock, I just wear Nike socks.
It's good
all the time. There's no difference.
Brought to you by?
No, not even a sponsor. Yeah. Okay, so professionally. Like, I know the answers to these questions up to a point, but I'd still like for you to take me to some of these places when I ask them, because I got a whole bunch of questions that I have for you specifically. But, what's happening, like, career-wise, man? What's going on?
Music? I mean, I'm touring all the time, which is fun. It isn't strange. A lot of my fans are like, you don't tour that much anymore, because I maybe have 30 dates that I post about, and then I probably have 30 or 40. I'm heading out to another Florida gig tonight, and I think since 2020 there's just more private gigs, or people realize you can hire us. I'll come sing in your backyard if you pay me the right amount and you're not too creepy. But even if you're creepy, if you pay me the right amount, I'll wear a monkey costume again. It's fine.
Even if you're creepy, as long as you're not creepy alone with me, because I've had privates before where 28% of them are with weirdos.
Yeah, well, you got your reach is a lot further than mine.
No, but for different reasons. I think people should hire you for privates, and I think people, once I'm there, they're like, "What did we just pay for?" And you're also intimidating. You're a big guy, but for me,
people don't pick on me. That's true.
For me, I don't even mind if they're weird. I just don't want to be weird alone with them.
Yeah. You got content. Come on.
They would be like,
get you some songs and some stories.
You ever get the, hey, give me your cell phone number? That happens sometimes, and I'm like, oh, my God.
I give them an email address that I never look at, but I mean, I don't look at my real one most of the time. But your eyes just, it's bad. For Christmas, I'm just going to buy one of those apps that deletes everything, and then I just start at 0 again. Anyway, back to my career.
There's an hold on. There's an app that deletes.
I don't know. I just need to 0 everything. I think I have like 14,000 emails I haven't looked at, but I think 13,000 of them are nothing.
But you should be that because you're a creative, right? You're an artist.
Yeah.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm a neurotic creative. I have no red dots, no emails, ever.
Good job.
There is no. It's also why I can't sleep at night. It's the same thing. It's just different.
Did I get an email? I got to read it.
It's like I don't want to miss something because if I miss it and I'm late and it was important, they're not going to want me for this anymore. And if they don't want me for this anymore, I must be losing my momentum.
Yeah.
And if I lose my momentum, I'm not going to have the
Then you'll be completely
security.
worthless and no one will love you, Bobby.
Yes. No, that's it.
I will never talk to you again. Nothing.
But we've already been there. That's fine. But that is like that's it. That's the root, and it is not rational, but that is it. That's for
No, it
me.
makes sense. We all want to be pretty. Always, whenever I write a new song and bring it in to play it for Natalie, I'm just like, tell me I'm pretty, just because But yeah, I've been playing a lot of songs, writing a lot of songs, playing a lot of shows.
How many times you write in a week?
Honestly, right now, well, not with the new baby. I'm just like taking off. Well, actually, I wrote with Trey Anderson the other morning. Got some ideas going. But I probably, on average, 3 times a week now.
What's the goal?
I mean, if 5 times a week, if artists want to write 5 days a week, I'll write with an artist 5 days a week. If I'm going to go in with another writer where it's like, hope this song gets cut, I'm not going to do it 5 days a week. I'm going to keep those ideas for my artist friends when it's time to get on the bus with them or whenever it's time to write that song,
Hey, Reed. Is your mic on? Do you have a mic over there? I'm going to ask you a question on mic.
I think all of our mics.
Oh, it's okay. I'll just yell. Do you know what hit song Eric Paslay and I wrote together?
Oh, wow.
Did you know?
It went number 1, man.
Do you know?
It's not Friday night. You can help him write that.
Friday Night was a jam. That's like his song. But you don't know?
It was close.
Do you think first of all, do you think I'm kidding?
No, I can believe it.
Okay.
You were with him one day and y'all were touring.
So you think I was just with him and all I did was like, oh, that's a great idea. Here's the word "the," and then I'm a writer. You don't think I can contribute?
No, I think you can.
Okay, go ahead.
Maybe,
Think about it. I'll come back to you.
wait, no. What's it called, though? She don't love you, she's just lonely.
Oh, if I wrote that,
sing
I
it.
would never stop talking about that song. She don't
Okay.
love you. That is one of the best country songs in the past 20 years.
Thanks, man.
And let's just go there for a second, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
That's not it, Reed. I'll be coming back to you though for an answer.
All right.
And it's real. This is not a joke. Mike, you know it?
Oh, I know.
I know.
And it went number 1, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have
yes.
a number 1 song together.
We do.
So it's his? So it's his song?
We're saying no more, Reed. We've moved on with the conversation. We love you, buddy.
All right, love
But
you.
you've had 2 guesses.
All right.
We're going to come back for another one in a minute.
All right.
And I do want to talk about like current stuff with you too. But She Don't Love You. Of all the songs that I have heard, and I want to just be complimentary of what I've heard with my ears, like that to me, that song was classic when I heard it the first time, which aren't words I don't know that I've ever used ever on this podcast. And I don't think I'm just saying that because you're here. I hope my efforts to get as many people to hear that song as possible, because I was so passionate about it, and you and Jen.
You kept it. You were the only one that made sure people heard. Well, there was a bunch of. There was a handful of you at radio that played a ballad at a time when those feeling songs were definitely not happening.
Like I get chills thinking about it because I haven't thought about that song.
But thank you.
So that song, it ended up being nominated for awards too.
Yeah, we were like, I think it was Song of the Year at the ACMs, and it meant a lot because I sang it and wrote it, and I've been nominated for the only other awards. Well, I guess a Grammy we were nominated for as a performer, but a lot of them were as a writer, so it meant a lot as a singer. And
I remember just dialing in and going, this is my early days here too. And it's when I really I'd find music I was passionate about. And I actually had a bit more influence then because there weren't as many avenues. I have influence now in different ways that I did not have then and don't have as much in ways that I did. That was one where I had music influence.
yeah,
And I was like, if you guys
Thanks
don't love
for
this
playing.
song, like I can't be your friend. And I would play it all the time.
it's I mean, you kept it alive, but it's like when everyone at radio isn't playing the song, like that's the interesting thing. Most people, I'll say, hey, what do you think that song went on the charts? Because in Nashville, we're so driven by charts. Like,
Can I
as
guess
if it
two? Can I
matters.
guess two before you say the answer?
Yeah, what do you think?
10? What?
Got to 15.
Okay.
But everybody thinks it like went to, radio,
I
the
cheated
numbers.
though because I was a part. Yes,
But
everybody thinks
most
it's the number
everybody
one
thinks
song.
it's the number 1 song.
Yeah.
And that the interesting thing about that is, on Music Row as a songwriter, and for me with Jen Wayne, it's like she wrote that with me. It's like, gosh, she only got paid as a 15, even though everybody believes it's a number 1. But that being said, it still gets played a lot. So it is, the positive side of that is when I talk to writers and artists, it's like, hey, your song doesn't have to go number 1 to affect people. And that's one thing. Same thing with High Class. It got to High Class I went to Colorado and played a show, and these big old dudes, cowboy guys, came up to me and MF'd me up and down because I didn't play High Class. And they're like, dude, we only like line dance to it 3 times a night out here, right? Apparently they're line dancing to High Class all the time. And I didn't know
Like
that.
it makes a difference
because
out
the
there.
song only
Yeah.
went to number 30 because we were 5 years too soon.
So, okay.
I'm deep diving into
No, I like that.
nostalgia, but it is.
I like
it's,
that. I want to
thanks for-
take a step back though. I did nothing. I didn't write the song. I didn't discover the song. I did not make the song a hit. I think there were times where people hadn't yet given it the chance it deserved because I think I saved it a couple times to where it forced people to listen to it a little more, and then they did what was smart, was to keep it alive, and then it kind of caught. That's what I remember about that song, just being so passionate about it.
Yeah.
And like he'd be like, "Oh, they're about to get a down arrow."
Yeah.
Dude, I would cheat. I would just be like, "Well, I'm on 300 stations. I'm playing this song every day,
Thank you.
twice a day.
Thank
You
you.
don't need things like me now. This is like but if the song wasn't
No,
great,
you
I wouldn't
did.
have done it."
I wouldn't still be playing shows if you didn't play songs.
That is
you know?
also not true. I'm not looking for any credit. All I'm saying is that song was so good, it made me want to do things that I did not do. And I was just lucky enough to know you, and I know Jen, and Jen is also in Runaway June, and I know Jen, but that was one of the best country songs of the past 25 years.
That's
And
nice,
I
man.
love it, and I hope people still like react to it.
Yeah.
They know it. When
I mean, as a song, the more you're involved in music and everything, I'm able to look at a song and just be like, man, yeah. And it's true. We wrote a classic song in probably 30 minutes. It just fell out of the sky.
really.
Yeah, just needed to be written. And that being said, it's the thing about songwriters, just a muscle. It's when the right idea shows up, you don't mess it up too bad. When they give you the right pitch, you can hit the grand slam. You can really hit it out of the park, and hopefully people are in the stands to hear the hit. You know,
Give me the quick version of you sit in a room, who's in the room, where the idea came from, and it fell out. Like encapsulate that for me.
I mean, a lot of times we're writing some up-tempo positive thing, another line came out, and that's what happened. We were writing something, because Jennifer Wayne's grandfather was John Wayne, and George Strait had just announced the Cowboy Rides Away tour. So, Too Many Cowboys Rode Away. That's where that line came from, because on our mind we had George Strait Cowboy Rides Away tour, and this line came up, yeah, she don't love you, yeah, she just lonely. And we were like, that's interesting. What was that? And so we wrote it.
You had to change a pace though.
Mm-hmm.
Risky, because to hear you all
Well,
writing a song to just catch radio,
Yeah.
or to have a something fun.
Total
to play
up
the show.
tempo positive for George's, end of the tour Cowboy song. And I don't even know what it was. I know it couldn't have been too bad. We probably should go back and listen to it.
Isn't it so fun though to write ballads? Because you can actually get a message out that people will hear.
You can do it in an up tempo. It's just
I don't.
you got
I
to
don't
be
ever
more
take 'em.
clever.
I don't take them. I don't know the words in up tempo songs. I know the melodies. Never listen to words. Too fast.
Yeah.
Ballads, I'm in.
Yeah.
I know every word. I'm feeling the emotion. Let me think about it. She don't love you. She's just lonely. What does that mean?
What do you think?
What I think it means is here's a guy who sees his ex with another dude, and he's like, bro, she don't love you. She's just sad and by herself.
You're
So
just missing me.
don't get the big head because it's probably about me.
There's all kinds of unhealthy but healthy. Yeah.
Would that
going
be
on.
accurate as to what you guys were thinking?
I mean, at the emotion I was feeling at the time, it was just heartbreak and anything to make you feel like it's all right.
The emotion you were feeling in real life?
Yeah,
So that was happening with you?
Yeah.
Darren? I
the
won't.
time.
I won't push farther.
that's fine. We'll talk on the next one about it. No, it's real life.
We're not done. You're not going home.
I have to
Eric.
go now.
No,
See
we're
my
not
therapist.
going.
No, I mean, it's, you go through stuff in life and think you're making the right choice and all that, and feelings show up in songs, And the honest truth is, it wasn't the truth. The truth of what the situation was not she don't love you, she's just lonely. Just the line showed up, and when you're in Heartbreakville, you're able to write those songs even more honest. But yeah, I'm glad the song showed up.
Yeah, me too. The one you were just talking about, the line dancing one.
Oh, High Class.
Can you?
Do you know that I hid that song? I hid that song
sing
from
me
the
melody.
label.
I need you to sing me the melody. though.
Tonight we high class, keeping my shades on inside, all dressed in black.
That song was a jam.
I hid that song from the label and they found it, dang it. I told them it was 5 years too soon.
That song was a jam, and I needed you to do that to get me back to it. Oh yeah, that song comes out later. That's a freaking smash.
I hit it. Well, because it was right after She Don't Love You. I was like, we just won over every country person. We can't play high class. They're going to all think I went bro country and turned my back on them. They're like, it's the song. And I'm like, I trust you. Here we go.
I didn't understand what you meant at first when you said it was too early.
It was too early.
But it is a jam.
I'm like, I feel like I'm always, I mean, that sounds like I typically am creatively 5 years too soon.
Hold on a minute. You wrote with Warren Ziders Ride the Lightning?
Yeah, that was the first song I think he ever wrote in Nashville.
Wait, what the heck?
So the story of what he was writing about in the beginning that Warren told me, and I don't know if he wants, it's fine. It's the truth of his life. But the story was something about like he had a character that he had that was in jail for killing his dad or for hurting his mom and this and that. So he was like, his songs are based off of a imaginary, character of himself. And I was like, so he's on death row? And he was like, yeah, he's on death row for killing his dad or something like that. I'm like, well, they call that riding the lightning, when you're in the electric chair. Ride the lightning.
I didn't know that.
And that's what the song is. And a lot, I was on the golf course the other day at a fundraiser, St. Jude fundraiser, and this dude played that song like 3 times. And the 4th time it came around, I'm like, hey, man, I actually wrote that one. I was like, you really like that song? He goes, no way, man. I was like, yeah, I wrote that. And I was like, you know what that's about? And he goes, no, I just thought it's cool, like Ride the Lightning. Yeah, man. I'm like, well, it's about the electric chair. I was like, what?
Like metallic. I thought,
Yeah.
I didn't know that was like the term for you're about to get the electric chair.
I mean, maybe only one person that taught that to me made it up, but
I like it though. Reed, what's the song we wrote?
Barefoot Blue Jean Night.
No, that's a good one though. Reed just yelled Barefoot Blue Jean Night. Please hold your other guesses. That is a song, and I have been very close with Jake on and off through. And Jake and I have a similar thing as you. There were just years we weren't even friends for a while. Not because of anything else. He bought a freaking farm out 200 miles away. But anytime I call Jake, he's like, he texted me this morning. I talked to him in a few months even, and we've gone on vacation together. And that song is as much of him as anything else that is him, because that song is him.
yeah.
And
Well, even there, like Riverside, down in the Riverside, there was a spot that he grew up going to in Florida.
I mean, this is
That was just by chance.
complimentary to you and to Jake, even for Jake to go, that song is so me, because it takes an artist to sell it
Yep.
and to sing it and be proud to sing it. And that there is not a song that is more Jake Owen than Barefoot Blue Jean
There
Night.
you go. And it's the most played country song of the past decade.
Is that right?
Yeah, crazy. Just add some whoa-ohs.
You still get checks for that one?
I hope so.
You don't know?
I mean, I'm sure I get something. It's never as much as people think it is. All that being said, I will never go hungry, so I'm good.
Whoa, man, whoas are awesome.
Whoa-ohs, man. I always say
Whoas, claps.
drunk people and children, and both sing it.
Oh, I was gonna say kids and songs like "It's a Hard Knock," or I like kids singing, like
Yeah.
like a choir, kid
I'm
choir,
with you, man.
like that. Claps, woes. There are those things that people go, cliche. No, you know why they're cliche? Because they're awesome if you do them right.
Yep.
They are super effective weapons that if everything else is done right around them, it's the perfect icing.
Yep.
Barefoot Blue Jean Night, amazing song.
Worked out.
Do people freak out when you go, I wrote this and you play it?
Yeah, but I usually on the front row, they're like, he didn't write this. Jake did, which is fine. That being said, Jake and them did change a couple words they did it right. And he never asked for a royalty on it. So thanks, Jake. That being said, he's playing a lot of shows. So
Yeah, I think
that's good.
to Jake's, even the
Thank
credit
you,
of what
Jake.
he is as an artist.
Thank you. I don't thank Jake enough for that. I mean, that was my first recorded song by a major artist, and it went #1. Like, huge.
Is that right?
Huge.
That's your first cut?
Pretty much. I mean, I had a couple like little ones, but it wasn't like
Like an established
someone
artist
on the
cut.
radio. Yeah.
That's exciting. Yeah,
Yeah.
You told me that even in privacy, like Jake changed a couple things, which is great. But most of the time when they do that, they're doing it for 2 reasons. One, they're doing it because they also want to claim they wrote it. They may
Right.
change stuff just to, even if they don't feel like it's better,
Just to have a royalty.
just so
on it.
they can say
Yeah.
I was a part writer.
Yeah.
And I don't. That is not integrity. It's not
Yeah.
That's not an integrity play.
Yeah.
And Jake changed a couple things that made it more natural to him and did not ask for any writing.
Yeah. It was like right and all right. I don't know. It was night, and he changed a couple.
Definitely could ask for a little piece though.
He totally could have.
That's cool.
You know.
I think Eli Young, Baby, if it breaks your heart. I'm trying to think of the songs that I'd be most surprised if you were playing and you played it and said you wrote it. probably Barefoot because it's such a massive, massive, massive song. Like you said, biggest of over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I'd be like, oh, that's cool. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Do you?
And it's not a thinker.
When you wrote it, were you just writing it in a room, like
Yeah.
and just see where it goes and exists?
Actually, you want to know the story about it? Dylan Altman, one of the writers on it, and Terry Sawchuk. I walked into the room and Dylan Altman was telling us his favorite concert he'd ever been to. And in my shows, I actually play part of a song that goes into Barefoot. And but he said he turned around. It was JFK Stadium, and Dylan's a little bit older than me. It was in 1988. And he said he turned around and there were lighters in the dark in the middle of this rock show. And it was U2's Joshua Tree Tour. It's amazing. I love U2. And U2 and U2. I love U2 out there. But I think I was thinking through that just recently. I'm like, it's so interesting that country music was influenced by Irish music from the beginning. And somehow we wrote the most played country song of the decade, and it was influenced by an Irish band.
And for those
pretty crazy. So thank you, Bono, and
that maybe
Adam Clayton Jr. And
the reference
The
that
Edge.
maybe you didn't catch, and I bring it up too. Yeah, country music is based on music from Europe and music from the slave ships.
Yeah.
And you're right. It like that.
and yeah.
That's it. That's why we have what we have, which is always so weird for me when people are like, "Well, I ain't country." I'm like, "Bro, do you want to go all the way back
Country's
to
never
the roots?"
country, if
Right.
you want to think. Hank Jr. wasn't country, his daddy was. So like the country you like and stop hating on people, man.
And
Like,
then the
that's
next
not
generation
fun.
is going to tell you your country's not country.
Absolutely. Right now, I mean, yes, name famous whoever, and it's not going to be country in 10 years. Whenever I remember when Cruise came on, I saw Tyler the other day, and I told him, I was like, dude, I just heard Cruise come on. I was like, man, I miss old country. And I was like, no, that like hell froze over with that.
Dude, people are
Kenny
going-
Rogers, he recorded a song of mine. I got to hang with him a little bit at the end of his life. Kenny Rogers said hell froze over at the award show when he and Dolly Parton sang Islands in the Stream because it was written by the Bee Gees. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, like hell froze over, man. And now everybody's like, oh, I miss old country. Country is never country. It's always moving so it can stay alive. If the pond doesn't move, it dies. It goes stagnant. The
dies.
fish die. You have to have a movement in life or it'll die.
And it's
So-
moved in different directions, but you know what happened? That part didn't continue, right? Like the parts that resonate with country music fans, the authenticity of it, and the instrumentation changes. I mean, again, Bob Wills, the Texas Playboys, when they freaking mic'd a steel guitar, they amped a steel guitar.
Yeah.
That's hell freezing over. Like
Dude,
people,
you want to know something crazy I did the
Yeah.
other day? Speaking of steel guitars and Bob Wills, my grandfather was in a band with his brothers. His name was Arnold Schiller and the Moonlight Serenaders. Is what they went by. A country with a Frank Sinatra song, which was amazing. Or no, that's not Frank. Yeah, well, he's singing. Anyway, they would go to the Elite Cafe that the Magnolia people own now, and Bob Wills would be there. But my grandfather actually converted a Gibson lap steel into a pedal steel guitar. And I totally just interrupted you, Bobby, but
No,
I was so
I'm
excited
in.
about this story.
I'm in.
I played at the Grand Ole Opry the other day, and it would have been my grandfather's 107th birthday. And I think we'll have this posted, but I ended up surprised. My mom was there. It was her dad and everything. And I didn't get to know him. He died when I was 2. So I wasn't like the kid in the music family, even though they definitely paved that road for me because my grandmother, like whenever I said I was going to be a musician, she was like, that's great. And nobody was freaked out because my grandfather and his brothers had done that. But I found a cassette with my grandfather singing on it. And he was singing The Gringos, the Lilacs. Really old song, speaking of Irish music, European music. But I ended up pushing play on a cassette player, and I had Bruce Boughton, an amazing steel guitar player, play my grandfather's steel guitar, and I played my great uncle's Kalamazoo that he took to World War II with him and brought it back, so the 2 instruments got to sing together again on the Grand Ole Opry stage, and I sang with my grandfather. I harmonized with him.
How did they mic the cassette?
I plugged it in. There's a little out thing.
Oh, so really just like
I was thinking I just stick a mic on it, but it was one of those things where it was,
that's a really great story.
So I got to sing with my grandfather on the ground, a little heavenly birthday gift for him.
I got some chills there on that
Yeah,
one.
man. So it was pretty, and I'd been dreaming it up for 10 years, and I'm finally like, I have all these dreams that I want to do. And when I describe that to people, they're like, how are you going to do that? Yeah, how's he going to pull that off? Like, it'd be pretty easy. I just push a cassette player and sing with it. How are you going to do that? And then I do it, and then people go, oh, wow, that worked. So I'm realizing in my life there's a lot of ideas I have that people just don't understand. I just got to do it.
Yeah, that's so simple. I would not have thought to do it like that.
Yeah.
I'd have been like, okay, how do we dub this off and get it digital? But at times we can take something simple and make it way harder than it needs to be.
But back to the Texas Playboys and the steel guitar,
Oh yeah, when
country
they
music.
they amped a steel guitar again. That's one of those hell freezes over type things.
Yeah.
And even Kenny Rogers, back when before he was a country star and he was singing, "What condition my condition is in,"
Yeah.
like he was a pop star.
Yeah.
Kenny Rogers was one of those that people look at now and go like, "That ain't country. He came from pop." That's what Kenny Rogers freaking did, and now he's known as like
If
one.
you go to Asia, if you say country, they're like Kenny Rogers.
Mm.
I know that because my parents lived in Thailand, and my dad sort of looks like Kenny Rogers, so they'd be like, Kenny Rogers.
I would wonder because that was a very specific
Like,
thing about it. He went to Asia.
Kaplan Kao. Yeah.
Friday night, Reed mentioned that, but that was a jam. But I believe, if I'm correct, you wrote that. I think Lady A cut it, but didn't put it as a single.
Yeah, it was on the Own the Night record.
And then you asked, "Hey, you guys didn't put it as a single. Do you care if I cut it and put it as a single?" Is that true?
I actually was, I mean, it was, basically I was playing a little show down in Birmingham, and a guy at one of the guys at the label, Kevin, came down, and he came to the show, and just after I played Friday night, he pointed at me and said, "There's your single." And I'm like, Lady A cut it, from the stage. He goes, "Ain't put it on the radio. It's your single."
Mm.
Thanks, Kevin.
Keith Urban, Wild Hearts.
Yeah, man.
How'd that one go?
This goes out to the drifters, all of the dreamers ready to fly high.
How'd that
I'm like
do?
whisper singing.
How'd that do?
We were 20. I'm bringing you cookies next time I have a song on the radio. We missed number one by 26 spins.
No way.
Yeah, so it's
I
my
knew
first,
that.
and I'm fine with it.
I knew that. You know why? Because I talked to Jen Wayne. I was on a golf course. Jen Wayne pulls up behind me. We're playing golf. Jen Wayne, by the way, was a professional tennis player. Again,
She's
I
really
mentioned
good
Runaway
at
June,
sports.
one of the great people too. And she pulls up behind me, and she's with Garth's lawyer. But to her, that's not Garth's lawyer. That's like her friend or something. I don't know. And I only knew Garth's lawyer because he kind of got somebody I knew out of some trouble. Not Garth, but somebody I knew out of some trouble. And I had just met him because we had opened for Garth in Fayetteville in the Razorback Stadium. And so I met him, and I went up to him, and I was like, "Hey, I just want to say thank you," because he contributed to something that was very, very beneficial to me. It was very beneficial to me. I can tell you about it off the air. And so, but then I see Jen and him coming up, right? And I'm like, "What the crap?" And she's like, "Yeah." She goes, "Can you believe?" Because again, at this point, I wasn't like in the music game, meaning I'm just creating content at this point, but I don't even keep up. But I want to know if like my friends are doing well, And she was like, "We missed by 26 spins or 20, whatever the number was." And then she told me who had beat it. I think it was like a multi-week.
Yeah, someone had it for multi-week.
Yeah.
I'm kind of like, why you don't need a 3, 5, 7 week number one.
Especially if it's that close. Like somebody helping.
What's the point?
That's a good song. That's a good song.
No, it worked out. I mean, all that being said, and the interesting thing, people are like, "God, you must have been upset." And I was like, honestly, I wasn't. That's the first time I ever had a song go top 5 and it didn't go number 1. Like, it was my first number 2. I'll take it.
Yeah, you'll take it. But I mean,
No, I'm serious. It was like just in relative thinking. It was like, I've never had a number 2. How cool is that?
you got
I could have had
1,
6 number 2s.
you got a 2. You're right.
Keith
Keith Urban is the guy too that had really instilled in me, after saying it many times, what you said earlier was, because Keith would be like, "This song," not on air, we'd be talking, and Keith and I live pretty close. I've been over to, Keith and I are friendly.
awesome.
When he's here, he's not here a whole lot, but when he's here, and he's like, "Dude, some of my biggest songs weren't number ones." He goes, and everybody thinks they were because everybody goes crazy for them. But he's like, number 7, number 13.
The honest truth is, it was too early. People are catching up.
Yeah.
And I will say, if anybody has never seen Keith play live, I don't care what genre and what zip code you thought you were born into, where your parents didn't want you listening to, that you listen to, like whatever music you like, Keith Urban will melt your face off. Also, his whole band is like frontmen.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is the fact that he has Nathan and Jerry up there singing, and that Keith isn't intimidated is because Keith is such a rock star. He doesn't need to be intimidated. Anyway.
Keith,
Go see Keith's live band. They're freaking mind-blowing.
and he is such this word gets thrown around a lot, but he's such a perfectionist in that I've been with and around him at times pre a show, and he's making sure the lights are in their exact place. The lights, like before he does a show.
Yeah.
Like he's going, okay, sometimes depending on where you are, when you are, an artist won't even need to do their sound check, let somebody go do it for him. He ran a sound check. He ran some new stuff. He wanted to test the lights. He wanted to see what the light, like that's a guy who wants to make sure that the people get out of it the money they put into it.
Yeah. And he has the time to do it. I remember in earlier years doing tours, you're just like, I don't even have time for sound check because my day's booked so much.
What do you mean?
So
Like,
it's-
having to like do like
Yeah, just all kinds of random stuff.
read? Nothing. You out of
I was
songs?
gonna say, even if it breaks your heart, but
Eli Young Band. Whoa, whoa. What? No.
you already said that, so that's not it.
Yeah.
The only other one I know is the Rascal Flatts song.
Rascal Flatts Rewind.
Rewind.
How'd sing? Whisper sing that one.
Wow. Flip the moon back up in the sky, put a poke back into that sweet red wine.
Oh yeah. I remember that one. No, it's not it. Reed, you ever hear a song that goes like this? When I grow up, I can be whatever I want. You'll see. I never said it was that. I said it. When I grow up was number one kid
Love it.
song.
Writing kids' songs before I even had kids.
I just remember being so grateful.
Phil Barton.
hmm And what's really cool is every once in a while Phil will play it at a riot and people will tag me in it. I just remember being so grateful because you knew Phil and brought Phil over to when I lived downtown. And I was
Yeah.
just so grateful that, because dude, you can write with anybody at any time. People, you have,
That's fun.
but I was like,
I'll write
man,
any song ever.
I was like, Eric, well, don't say that because he made me feel less special. But then I was like, he's like, all right with anybody.
I write with everybody.
Everybody that asks. I was very grateful because I was like, and then Eric's like, let's do the da. I remember it vividly, and it's awesome. And schools still use that for like assemblies.
That's
They
great.
get tagged at like the end of the school year every year with schools and their kids, like all like the second graders singing the whole song. And so, yeah, that's it. You didn't know that, did you, Reed?
No, I didn't, man. I used to sing that back in school.
Yeah, see, this guy used to sing it back in school.
Yeah.
What are you writing for the most now? Like, you gonna put stuff out? You already got stuff done?
Yeah, I mean, I've put out 3 projects since 2020.
I mean, like coming up.
I just sent 100 songs to management just to be like, okay, help me pick.
Wait, you sent 100?
Here's 100 that I think should be on an album. And that was, I think I got to the E's. I don't know. I just write so much. We don't write crappy songs. I'll send you 100. You want to tell me what you like?
No, I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Since you have so much time and you're not exhausted, I'm going to just make you really paranoid at night. I
It's-
told him the wrong song.
I don't listen to much. I don't say music, but I listen to, you know what I like now. I don't have the pressure on me to like find and break, but every once in a while something hit me and I'll be like, or there'll be a writer that writes a few things in a row with different artists. And I'm like, God dang. Or like I've mentioned Megan Maroney, like she writes and how she writes, she's very specific and it's her voice. And like, there's just certain people that you're like, wow, like that. But I've become a bit jaded in a way. I've heard so much that sometimes I feel like I'm not even fair to stuff because I've heard so much. And 10 seconds into it, I'm like, been there, but I'm not giving it the actual chance that it should deserve because I've listened to so much music.
Oh, you just don't have as much grace for a
Maybe.
mediocre song.
But maybe it's not mediocre.
Yeah.
I mean, if my wife just judged me on the first 10 seconds, no chance.
Yeah.
She'd be like,
that's
it's
all.
another
That's me
generic,
too.
mediocre white boy
Yep.
that's trying.
Now there's just another giant leprechaun walking around.
How tall are you? 4?
I'm only 5'16", you know. Geez, I like that
6'4".
there.
6'4", yeah.
Yeah, 6'4".
Did you ever think about shaving your beard? When you did that, when you like the artist thing where you're like, I'm going to change it up and be like rock.
I mean, I could, I guess if I want to go rob banks or something, nobody
don't-
know it's me.
I don't think you need to. The beard's the thing. When you go you're going to go do a bunch of shows. You're doing Hawaii too, I saw.
Yeah, I've been doing that a little bit. I've been playing Europe at least once a year. I'm trying to do it a couple times a year
With what intention?
to go have fun, make music. And they really like what I do over there a whole lot. They listen. It's interesting.
What do you mean they listen?
People have asked, they're like, what's the difference between the States and Europe? And this is it's not an insult. We're taught how to listen and we're taught how to consume certain things in our lives, I think. But it's funny. All the European artists want to come to America because a show in America is a party, and a lot of American writers and artists love going to Europe because a show is a concert. Like in Europe, you play a song and they don't scream talk through it, and then they applaud at the end, and then they want to know the new song that they haven't heard yet. In America, it's typically, and it's also the crowd, if it's just a radio bar crowd, they'll start selfieing during the number one song. If it's a new song, they're getting a beer. They don't want to know. They haven't been told it's cool yet.
That's interesting.
And to me, and you can see people wanting to dance to the new song, but they're not sure if their friends will make fun of them for dancing to a new song that nobody knows yet. It's just like, oh man, y'all could have so much more fun. Just don't judge each other. Just have fun. Dance to the song you hear that makes you move,
What are you going to do with all that 100 songs? Meaning,
We got to pick some. I mean, I don't know. I mean, we'll see which 12 or 15 or 1,000. I mean, I'm like, I could put a song out a day and have, in a world of chasing phenomenons of just, will the ones and zeros line up for you? It's kind of like, I guess if I put more songs out, there's more chances. And the interesting thing is, like, songs have forever to be heard is always what I know. And
but you don't have forever to hear that people hear the songs.
True.
Do you care about legacy or?
I mean, I care. I care about what I care that I hope people at the end of whenever my days are done down here that they go, he used his gifts for good, And I am one of those guilty people. I try to put the hope at the end of everything, even if it's a crap day. I try to be like, but the sun shine for a second, But deep down, I'm that long play guy of like, man, I do. Even when everything's bad and it's not good, like I believe good wins in the end, and everyone's beyond loved if they're able to open their arms to it. And my hope is with music and all that I planted good seeds in people's hearts and it grew good stuff, But
You're way healthier than I am.
no, man, that's my hope. That doesn't mean I'm good at it.
I
But
have questions on my phone, so when I grab my phone, don't be insulted. I have some stuff I wanted to ask you. They're in this vein, but keep going.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I hope that whatever I do, people are influenced to do good with what they got. Because people are sure chasing a lot of wind that's not going to fulfill them these days.
Yeah,
I'm guilty too.
me too. I'm very guilty. But sometimes it takes me chasing it and getting it to realize, oh, I didn't need it. I've done a lot of that.
I always say they call it fishing, not catching.
Mm-hmm.
They call it dreaming for a reason. It's fun to chase them. I think it's more fun to chase a dream than to catch it. There's a certain balance there,
A lot of the stuff that I thought was super important. And I still think some of it is, but just for different reasons now. You know what?
Well, it's all important. It's all important to our stories. I'll say that.
I got to find the new iPhone has updated, and there are some really great things about it, but I can't find my favorites folder now. It's like, have you guys updated your iPhone?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's some cool things. One, you can send a text
That's
on a
why I
timer.
don't update until all my friends do.
He's on i1 still. He's on the version 1.
It's an iPhone.
It still says dial up as it's ringing.
Sending a text on timer is now really cool for me because my schedule is so weird. If I wake up at 3:30 in the morning and I want to return a text, I don't really send it then because I think I want to wake somebody up with it, right?
That's
So so at times I'd be like, I'll just text them at 11. Then I forget and then never text them back. And I hate that about me. But now you can, with the new update, time the text. I think it's a great part.
It's awesome.
Yes. So that's one of the new things. The bad thing is I can't find my favorites folder and I have these questions and it's driving me out of my mind because I was like, oh, I'm going to run these through Eric. So nobody go anywhere. Everybody.
Eric, what album did you not realize? It was called Nice Guy, and this guy, Bobby Bones, was actually in the music video. It was awesome. And
Wait. Are you doing a joke thing? Because I'm really not paying attention to you right now. But if you're not doing a joke
I also
thing.
put out an album called Even If It Breaks Your Barefoot Friday Night,
Now
where I went and recorded
Now
my
he's doing a joke thing.
hits. And I went and sang Even If It Breaks Your Heart myself, if you'd like to hear me sing.
Mike, can you pull up your phone?
Yeah.
Can you find the favorites folder?
I do see how it's difficult to find.
Where is it? Walk me to it.
Well, I just swipe all the way down, and then you get the search thing that comes back up, and then I just type favorites.
Oh my God, if that's all I needed to do.
But it does look like it's kind of hidden now.
Favorites. Yeah, I found it. That was it. Okay, top results. Dude, it's one of two things, and Eric, you can tell me this. Either I am now old or this is just too new and I can't figure it out yet. And it could also be both, but I do not. I don't see it. I don't know, man. What you play? Are you playing golf? You said you're that.
Hey, yeah,
fundraiser.
I'm having I'm doing my first Eric Paslay's. It's going to be the Eric Paslay Breakthrough T1D Classic. So we'll raise money for type 1 diabetes in August. So
where's that? And
it's going to be here in Nashville.
Are you invited? I'll play.
Come on, come do it. We'll
So-
get Gator and you and all the famous friends.
How's your how's diabetes going?
All good.
Is that a real
I'm
question?
still-
I mean, I know you.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
still
No,
wear the pump
I
and
wear a pump. I get to be a Dexcom warrior, so we're a Dexcom, and both of them communicate with each other. So I mean, just it's amazing in the 30 years I've had type 1 diabetes. The advances in technology, it's amazing.
I was
mean,
gonna
my
ask.
cell phone, I can give myself insulin from my cell phone. It'll tell my pump to do it. So it's pretty dang amazing.
and just your short life of being a teenager to adult, like technology has evolved so much with that.
Yep,
That's crazy.
it's great.
Okay, I have my question. I found them,
All right.
and I had these saved just for you, like some of them, because I was like, Eric's a deep thinker. He also squirrels a lot, and I like that about you.
I do.
Yeah.
I can go down a tangent.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
chase a tangent nut all day, man.
If your next 5 years were a chapter in a book, your next 5 years from today,
Yeah.
what do you think that chapter would be about?
Recreation.
How so?
I'm realizing I'm in the next chapter, artist wise and all that, in a way. Doing that, I mean, I hopefully it would involve music that gets heard, a television show of me DIYing stuff, and
We tried one of those
and
once. We made a pilot.
I know, and maybe that I might write a book because people keep saying you should write books because I talk in songwriter language that they like.
What
And
what kind of book? About what?
I have no idea. I'd assume inspirational or something.
Mm.
That just the creative inspiration. I don't know. When you hit the roadblock, where do you go?
Next question.
Bend around the rock.
What would you do if you were not afraid?
I wouldn't care as much about things that don't matter, and definitely about people that don't matter. Although people matter, about people's opinions. I would not care at all about someone's opinions, as long as I know I'm leading with love.
Do you feel like you've been able to change with that over the last few years? Are you getting better at it, worse at it?
Oh, yeah.
Just different at it?
Oh, especially, I mean, yeah. I mean, being an independent artist now, it's like, I've had to deal with a lot of things, looking back at the past and regrets and I shoulda, couldas and blah, blah, blah. You know.
What has gone really well in your life so far?
Honestly, I'm pretty dang lucky. It's all gone pretty damn well. Obviously, I'd love to still have a major record deal because it means I'd be on the radio. I'd have better shots at it.
Doesn't matter as much anymore.
I know that, and I know that too.
Like it does matter and it's significant, but not much. You don't need it anymore.
Yeah,
You
true.
have 100 songs.
I'm good. I'm playing 70 to 80 shows a year. It's good. I'm good. But yeah. Sorry, I had PTSD. What was the question?
No, I was just asking, like, what's went really right? And you said lucky, and
Yeah.
I'd meet that if it's okay to meet that with. I think you have obviously worked extremely hard. I think you've made great relationships, and I think at times you've prioritized different parts of your life. And with any prioritization, you're going to gain some parts, and you're going to lose some parts.
True.
I think though that I just have trouble with luck because I don't see you. I see you having made a lot of great decisions, and I don't think that was lucky.
Yeah. I've had the right yeses at the right time. Still wanted more yeses.
Yeah, don't we all?
And I'm fine with the ones that didn't say yes.
What lesson have you learned the hard way?
Say what you need to say when it's time to say it. Hold your tongue too.
It's a tough one.
There's a couple of them.
The hold your tongue stuff.
Sometimes the person driving the car is not your therapist.
Now, is that specifically about an Uber driver you've had, or is that more of a metaphor?
I'll just say on when the person selling your song hears you needing therapy, they're probably not going to sell your song very well. Why didn't my song work? Oh my gosh, what should we do? I tell new artists that, like, hey, I'm telling you too much.
No, you tell them to finish that.
It's
tell new artists like, hey.
I tell new artists when you're on radio tour, like your radio promo person is there to sell you. And if they walk into the radio station and they have fear in their eyes because you have doubt, because everybody does, don't do that. Don't do that.
What's the best thing about being you?
Man, I get to be creative and I'm paid for it. I actually get to use one of my best gifts to make a living. That's insane. That's crazy. But also the insane part of it is I've learned me. It's like I literally move air for a living. It's intangible. I literally make stuff up. It might be from a real story. So like the reason I renovate houses and builds, I'm literally just was building a new pantry for Natalie this morning and finished it up, got the door on the hinges and all this stuff. But it's because it's tangible. It's like the light is on. It's not an opinion. You don't have to tell me if you like this song or not. You don't have to tell me if the light is on or not. It is a factual fact that there is electricity by code going to it and it's on.
Do you need that to match the exact opposite of that?
Yes, I think so. Just it stables me out. And also it means I can sit and just think and, move dirt in a skid steer.
3 questions. What do you wish other people knew about you that they may not?
Huh. I don't know. I'm pretty open book most of the time. I'm not sure.
Oh, we got all the time in the world. It's podcast.
I will say, I mean, I wish people saw a show. Come see me sing songs. I'll play shows a lot these days, and like an amazing compliment, but also just kind of a stab in my creative heart is people will walk up and be like, "You're the best singer I've ever heard. How come I've never heard of you?" And you're like that is the sweetest, awesomest thing you could sell to me, other than I have nothing to do with if you have or haven't. Like Bobby Bones played me. Where have you been?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can see where that's getting you on both sides.
And that being said, I also love it because go check out my songs. Mm-hmm. You can hear me sing them too. And go listen to some that I've written.
2 left. What's your favorite thing to do in the world? I'm not going to accept songwriting or performing.
No, I got you.
Yeah, I won't accept that.
My favorite thing is seeing something I did impact people in a really awesome, positive way. That feels good because it means whatever I did mattered. Not for my ego, but knowing that my goal that's my goal.
Final question. What's the one mistake that you learned from the most?
I think losing a record deal. I think. There was a lot of mistakes I maybe made, even though it probably wasn't even up to me.
Yeah, I mean.
I believe that it was a mistake. I believe that I made little mistakes. And sometimes I'm like, if I was more clever, if I was more this or that. Obviously, I've let go of it, but being here with you, hanging out,
doesn't feel
makes
like
me
that was
list
a mistake
a little
that
bit
you
of stuff.
made, though.
Yeah. There would have been, like you said, I think at times I was renovating more stuff than I needed to do, but it was keeping me sane in the world of chasing the neon rainbow of radio and everything. I don't know. I mean, I think that's just looking back at wishing certain songs worked and knowing that I still have so many songs that I know will impact people in a good way. It's just like, I wish I had a quicker way to get this to people, even though I do with social media and all that.
Those 100 songs, are those songs, though, that are also being pitched at the same time?
I mean, they could be.
You sent to the publisher?
I mean, I think they're getting played for people.
Yeah.
I assume that they are. But majority of artists like writing it these days, you know. And there's the majority of artists are writers. But it's yeah. I mean, if anybody wants to hear the 100 songs, just send me a text. I got more.
Here's his number.
555.
Tell me about Song in a Hat.
A giant leprechaun.
I saw
Song in a Hat. So I started doing the show. I've done 2 so far, and I just kind of thought, like, man, would it be a cool songwriter experience type of show? Because we do songwriter rounds where we, you know, set 3 or 4 chairs up. You have songwriters who also could be artists, etc. And we tell a story, play a hit. Tell a story, play a song. Tell a story, play a song that no one's ever heard. For anybody that's never been to a songwriter round, it's really common in Nashville. But I was like, man, that could be some other experiences. And the main thing why I called it Song in a Hat is we pass around brown hats like I wear all the time. And every audience member, if they would like to, can put in a song title. And at a certain point in the show, like after a couple songs that we play, I'll literally draw a song title out of the hat. Whatever I pull, the person that wrote it down comes up on stage, and we write the song for about 10, 15 minutes, because people are always like, how do you write a song? I'm like, I don't know. Just watch us, you know? There's not one way to do it. You know, you throw around ideas and think, well, if this was the soundtrack, what soundtrack would be playing if this is the theme, you know? That's kind of how I think of it. So literally at our live show, we write a song with a complete stranger, and I teach them, like, hey, there's 4 of us on stage. You own your share of the song. If for some reason we ever finish this song and Keith Urban cuts it, you own a 4th of it, because that's the right thing to do, in my opinion. And then after we've done it a couple. The last show I picked 2 titles throughout the show, so a couple people wrote with us on stage. Amongst us playing hit songs and telling stories like a regular show, and then I have a paper shredder on stage. And when I'm done picking songs, I literally say, hey, by the way, these song titles are not copyrightable. Like, I could literally write every single one of these ideas.
Hey, shred them up.
And so I'm like, keep your ideas close, you silly people, and shred it up. Christian Bush was on the first show, and he said, look, dreams being shredded right before your eyes, you know.
That's fun.
And so it's just, you know, really creative confetti that goes in there. But and then I also have a thing called the First Take Work Tapes session, where I've got my tape recorder, and I have all the writers send me a work tape, which is the first recording of a song you've written before anybody's ever heard it and it's ever famous. So the audience gets to hear kind of the first version of Barefoot Blue Jean Night, or Even If It Breaks Your Heart, or, you know, Christian with it was like a Sugarland hit, you know. So it's a fun show. We're doing it at Chiefs downtown, a cool,
how often?
cool theater. Oh, it's pretty much every month.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I copied a bunch of the songs he had written, and we naturally went through a lot of them anyway. But just kind of in this, there was something that was written about you that I thought was hilarious, because not everything written is true. Things about me that people write just aren't true sometimes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to read you a note that I saw that I knew wasn't true. You ready? He's married to country singer Natalie Hemby.
That's awesome. You want to know something awesome? I've totally texted Natalie Hemby things that I meant to send to my wife, whose maiden name is Natalie Harker. But that's amazing.
Eric married country music songwriter and performer Natalie Hemby in 2017. And luckily I know Natalie too. Natalie Hemby to know that's not true. She's a fellow Nashville songwriter, and the couple's shared love of music makes for a creative partnership.
That is
So
amazing.
congratulations on your
Thank you. I love you, Natalie.
fictional marriage.
We'll go.
That's awesome, dude. I'm so happy to see you. I am glad that you're here. I am glad to. You look good.
Good to hang.
You're still
man.
tall.
Let's hang more in person.
You got your beard keeps you looking like the same age as you were before.
You know, I'm less of the giant leprechauns.
Do you have any gray in there?
There's a little bit happening.
No,
Yeah.
I don't really see it.
I just put it in there to make people think I'm aging.
Oh, you add the gray.
It's part of the witchery,
I like that.
you know.
And Reed's blown away by the fact that he didn't know that we wrote When I Grow Up.
Crazy, man.
But I do like that you think I wrote Barefoot Blue Jean Night, so thank you for that, Reed.
You like basically all his.
I wrote all of his songs before Up to You.
He was the influence for them all.
You guys go follow Eric on Instagram. We said all this in the pre, but I'll put my page down. What's your Instagram? At just Eric Paslay.
Eric Paslay.
Eric Paslay.
Paslay.
Follow at Eric Paslay, and we'll be looking for that 100 song album.
There'll only be probably 12, but
What a letdown. We'll be looking for those 8 albums. Of 12
8
songs.
albums. We'll do it.
8 times 2 is 16. 8, that's, yeah.
I mean, maybe I'll just put a song out every day.
96.
Set
You
a
could do that.
Guinness Book of World Records.
I just saw the guy who broke the record again for one every week. You could do every day
Easily.
and set the record. You got to produce them all, though. That's time and money, man.
Well, you just pay the producer that wrote it with you in the room. Demo. There's no such thing as a demo. They're all records.
That's true. That's a good point. You guys go follow Eric. Eric Paslay, everybody.